Hi, welcome to Ladies of Another View. I'm back. It's Friday.
Yay! Thank God it's Friday. It's
I
been a
agree.
week.
Seriously.
And thank you for joining us on your Friday afternoon. Before we get started, we have just chock full of guests today. Every segment has guests. But I wanted to let you know that when we did the show, was it a week or 2 weeks ago, on the unemployment and that people are collecting unemployment and not really going for job interviews. And I gave a phone number and a website to report it on at Job Service. And guess what? They've had hundreds of reports. So,
Wow.
yes. So, stop collecting unemployment if you're not showing up for a job interview.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's fraud. Maybe you didn't know it, but it's fraud. So go to jobservice.com if you want to report somebody who
.gov.
.gov. I'm sorry, jobservice.gov. And if you want to report somebody who applied for a job, didn't show up for their interview, because maybe they're just saying they're making these contacts and they're really just collecting their check. And we don't like that. We think,
It's
go to
taxpayer
work.
money. That's your money.
Yeah, yep.
And see, if I may make one comment, because I wasn't on that show. I used to work for a very big insurance company. And some of the nicest people in the world don't think twice about ripping off an insurance company or job service or the government. But that is theft. It is all punishable by not only the law, but by God. Mm-hmm. So you steal from anyone, it's a crime. I'm just going to throw that out there.
So we're doing you a favor. Don't collect unemployment and pretend you're looking for a job when you're not. Okay, So that little public service announcement done, I want to introduce our guest, Michael Richards, and he is joining us from Watford City, North Dakota.
Yay, Watford
Hello.
City.
Hey, welcome.
Welcome, Michael.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Michael came highly recommended. And what, pray tell, is he going to talk to us about? Strength and conditioning, health, nutrition, everything we need to know. Michael, I prepared for you today. I went for a 2-mile walk because I thought, I'm not sitting here and feeling guilty when you tell me how great it is to be in shape. So I got a little exercise this morning in preparation. Actually, COVID brought you here, and you can explain how that happened, because I'm not sure how you went from Ohio to North Dakota because things shut down in Ohio. And you are working on your master's in testing and human performance, and you have 7 years experience in a strength and conditioning coach, and you're often called Coach Richards.
Yes.
Right. And as a matter of fact, if anybody wants to connect with you, and I'll mention this again later in the show when you realize how awesome Coach Mike is and you want to connect with him, you can go to his Instagram or Twitter account, and it's Coach Mike _power. There you go. There he is. So if you want more power in your life, we can connect with Coach Mike. So Michael, you want to talk about, we'll start with exercise, and then when you join us for the second segment, we'll get into a little bit more health and nutrition stuff.
Absolutely.
You work with athletes, right?
What's that?
You work with athletes right now, right?
Correct. I work with primarily high school athletes, and I am slowly transitioning into the middle school, as the year goes on, and I kind of automate the high school level. That way we can get the full long-term athlete development model that we're looking for up here in Watford City. That it's a new program, it's a developing program. So they hired me on up here to kind of establish the culture, establish what we are looking for as a athletics department in these athletes, not only athleticism, but character development, just how to be a better person through athletics as well.
Now, I'm guessing that we don't have a whole lot of viewers in the junior high and high school level. So I want you to help the rest of us, maybe from a parent's perspective and our kids in sports with injuries. I notice from the time when I went to school, and I have 10 kids, 8 of them boys, but most of them did some kind of athletics. It seems like they're a little more careful than they used to be. Things like concussions and injuries. What are you seeing?
So I would definitely agree with that. We are shifting more towards the, working smarter, not harder model, where the old model used to be kind of push as hard as you can until your body just fatigues out, or, you get injured and then you kind of push through the injury kind of line of thinking there. we are shifting more as strength and conditioning kind of develops as its own scientific field here. We're developing more standardized practices that are based in science and basic human anatomy and physiology, and different biochemical markers, which is all fancy talk for basically keeping the athlete in their sport longer, and meaning that they're not spending as much time injured, which if you're injured, you're typically on the sideline. So you can't really participate in your sport if you have that nagging injury. And then also later on in life, when you hear about, adults with these injuries that they sustained when they were in high school or college, trying to reduce those so you could live a healthier life longer without as many of the, arthritis or joints issues that may come on later on in life. So that's kind of the major importance of what we are shifting to with the more scientific based, smarter, not harder mentality.
I would say we're the later on in life stage now.
We're reaching that. But you mentioned something about bioindividuality, and I know I've seen a lot of talk about that, and diet and nutrition play a big part of this. And I know that some women should be doing cardio and some women should not be, because that will affect their hormones negatively. Not everybody should be a long distance runner. Some people should be doing strength training versus, jumping jacks. Can you kind of explain the differences and why?
Yes, so absolutely. First caveat, I am not a medical doctor, so anything like that, you need to consult your doctor, and if there are any health problems, consult your doctor as well, because one of my other certifications is exercise physiologist, which basically means that if you are recovering from a cardiovascular or metabolic disease such as diabetes or a heart attack, there are exercise protocols we can go through to get you back into your normal work capacity to do your job. But basically, the American College of Sports Medicine with the American Heart Association typically recommends 150 minutes a week of just moderate activity to elicit a healthy response in the body. So that could be a combination of the jogging, running, or resistance training. And they do go further to say that they would recommend resistance training at least 2 times a week for everybody. That way, later on in life, you are able to, be more mobile and more independent without those debilitating conditions that could arise later on.
That's interesting. My kids are in rodeo. I've had kids in track and football, but one of the rodeo sayings is, snap that bone back into place, don't be a pansy. I mean, that's an old rodeo saying. We say that all the time. That or run it off or jog it off, if you're injured. Are those days gone? I mean, can you comment on that?
I feel like those days will never be gone, because athletes have a certain mindset, like they're going to be that personality type that's going to push through anything to, fulfill their athletic potential. I feel there are ways that we could optimize recovery and performance. That way, those issues happen less frequently. That way, we don't really have to worry about it as much. But I feel like as athletes with that personality type athletes tend to have, those days probably won't be gone ever. But that's not a bad line of thinking to have either. We just have better tools in place now to handle that.
Perfect.
Okay, thanks. Yes, great answer. So we're going to talk about health and nutrition when we come back with Coach Mike Richards right after these messages with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Watch No Filter with me, Debbie Schlussel, for no-nonsense, unfiltered analysis of the news that matters to you. You'll see engaging guests,
It began a 444-day nightmare.
entertaining analysis, and it has everything to do with something that happened in history, and honest movie reviews. Trust me, this is just atrocious. No Filter with Debbie, weeknights at 10 p.m. Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
Pub 21, your one stop for fun, drinks, and food. Our spacious facility provides COVID-safe fun for you and all your friends. With nightly bingo and specials, you can be sure there's something to do for everyone. If you're staying in for the night, we've got you covered just across the way with Pub 21 Liquor. We have a wide variety of options, from wine to whiskey and everything in between. Stop in today at 1014 South 12th Street in Bismarck to see what all the buzz is about. You won't be disappointed.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, and we have a dude with us. We always like to point that out. We're not always just about ladies. And Coach Mike Richards is joining us from Watford City. And I mentioned in the last segment that you moved here from Ohio because of COVID. Can you explain that to us?
Yeah, so not speaking ill of Ohio or the decisions that were made, they kind of shut down pretty hard with COVID. Once they started the reopening process, obviously with my profession, strength and conditioning, the gyms and the fitness facilities were kind of weird with their reopening. So there wasn't as much volume allowed, which meant there weren't as much coaches needed. So was let go because of that. And then I jumped on the internet, like I need a job, I need to find something to do. And there was a listing up here in Watford City. And after I was explained the situation where they haven't really had a strength and conditioning coach, it would be a brand new program that we are establishing a new culture and the expectations that were set. I had to jump on that opportunity because that is a strength coach's dream to develop their own program from the ground up. So
wow,
that kind of that's kind of the short story of what brought me out here.
So were you pleasantly surprised with North Dakota, A, the people, or B, the landscape? Tell us just quickly about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I found the people very friendly and the landscape, Ohio has some hills, but I mean, I'm 10, 15 minutes away from the Theodore Roosevelt National Park. So that is just mind blowing to see something like that. So definitely don't have anything like that in Ohio. But yeah, no, the people have been really friendly, very receptive. They want to see the change that I can bring about. So it's been a very pleasant experience moving up here.
Wonderful.
Well, that's a good segue into bringing about change. A big way to bring about change is healthy eating, right? And
Correct.
You deal with health and nutrition. And I suppose teenagers, because you deal with teenage athletes, they're probably, or maybe a harder sell than we might be. Like we're ready to listen to you and hear what you have to tell us.
So yes, athletes, they always want that nutrition advice, but then when you tell them the actual nutrition advice, it's not necessarily what they want to hear. So they are receptive to the information, but I guess a harder sell on the correct information. And that's kind of why I went down the certification route for nutrition, is because when I was doing strength and conditioning through my undergrad and working in facilities, nutrition information that you search for on the internet is kind of all over the place. And even with my educational background, I wasn't really able to tell what was good or what wasn't. So I followed through with my precision nutrition certification, which is one of the leading certifications for nutrition. And I think most people understand the healthy food options they should eat, where you want a certain amount of protein, a certain amount of carbohydrates, a certain amount of fats in your diet based on your energy needs, consumption, as well as any medical conditions you may have that alter those ratios. What I don't think people think too much about is the behaviors around nutrition, which is the kind of the premise of the certification that I hold, is that I can give you the best diet, I can give you the best fitness plan that, it is spot on, bulletproof plan. However, if you are snacking on a cookie every night before you go to bed, that diet plan is going to go out the window and you're not going to see the results because that behavior isn't set up to see the results from that plan. So the one thing I like to tell everybody is to start small. Maybe if you drink a lot of soda, right, you want to substitute that with water. And I'm talking like if you have 5 cans of soda a day, maybe go to 4 cans and substitute a bottle of water for one. And as that becomes a habit now, you are able to substitute another can or the next can. And now you're drinking maybe 1 can of soda a day and shifting to mostly water throughout the day. The big mistake a lot of people make is they say, I'm going to jump on this diet, I'm going to jump on this fitness plan immediately, and I'm going to stick to it. And then most of the time we see that they don't stick to that because that is a night and day drastic difference that the behaviors aren't set up to handle. So that's kind of the behavior modification is that major component that a lot of people miss when they do try to start their health and fitness journeys.
Well, Jan here is kind of a poster child for eating your way to health because she's lost over 60 pounds. She was my guest one show to tell her story, but really she eats healthy, but she eats really good food too. I know the stuff that you cook and bake and you're not exactly suffering, but it really was a life changer, right?
Absolutely. But, people have to change their paradigm a little bit. And it sounds like that's what you're helping them to do, because it can't always be an all or nothing. And you do have to give yourself some grace, and you just have to move in the right direction.
Absolutely. Yes. And that's kind of the reason diets fail a lot is, if you love chocolate, right? And I say, you absolutely cannot have chocolate because it's bad for you. It's terrible, right? You might go a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month or whatever, however long you go. However, if your love for that chocolate and we are cutting your body off from it, unless the behaviors are set up for you to be successful, you're going to go right back to that chocolate. And it's not going to be like, oh, I'm going to have one chocolate bar. You're going to try to eat all the chocolate you can find in that one sitting. Because we just completely excluded it from your body and your body wants it. That's where the reintroduction of healthier foods that you like in place of those non-healthy foods, that's the important key there. And, you got to think of food as energy. So when you demonize food as like, you can never eat pizza because pizza's bad, that's just not true. You can have, one or 2 slices of pizza, but if you sit there and eat the whole pizza, that's when we have the issues that we see. So it's more of shifting, like you said, shifting that paradigm of the mindset there, where that one cookie doesn't make you fat, that one salad won't make you skinny, So it's modifying those behaviors around the food and those mindsets around the food that are going to be important.
Well, a lot of times when someone is craving chocolate, it might be that they need magnesium, and you can find substitute foods that will give them that magnesium, and then they won't crave the chocolate so much. So there's always an exchange, and it's not a all or nothing ever.
Right, absolutely. And that's one thing where you can kind of talk with your doctor. They can run blood work or mostly blood work to kind of see your blood chemistry and see if you are lacking in certain minerals or vitamins, or what your fat content is, to see if that's influencing your cravings or diet.
Or food allergies.
Or food allergies, absolutely.
So is there a list somewhere, so a person, say they crave salt, or if they crave chocolate, or if they, for me it's black licorice, that's my downfall.
Oh, wow.
The licorice
Yuck.
pinwheels.
I'm going to give you all my black licorice.
Oh my gosh. But anyway, is there a list of, if you're craving like such and such, this is what you could be lacking? Can you find that anywhere?
I don't have it personally on me. like on
That'd be
demand. However,
interesting.
I have seen that list before. Just do a quick Google search. I don't have a reference for it, but I have seen that list on,
Okay,
you know,
that's good to
going
know.
through Instagram and Pinterest and stuff like that. It's floating around.
Sure.
Really quickly in 30 seconds, what do you think of intermittent fasting? That's very popular. Is that good or bad?
So I'm gonna kind of caveat that with the best diet is going to be the one you can stick to and the one that works for you. So intermittent fasting could work for some people and could not work for other people. So it's really hard to pin down one diet that works for everybody, where it's going to be the diet that person is most able to stick to based on their lifestyle and availability.
And here you can connect with Coach Mike on Instagram and Twitter, and we're going to connect with Mike at the Bucks game tomorrow. He's going to be there coming in from Watford City. So we'll talk more about Bucks football later in the show. And when we come back, we're going to talk with two ladies from Health Freedom, North Dakota, coming up after these
Mike.
messages.
See you, Mike.
Yes,
Thanks
thank
for
you,
having
Mike.
me.
We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, bye now.
And we'll see you after these messages on Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Indoor football is back in Bismarck. Bucks football season is right around the corner. Grab a friend or family member for a night of action-packed, hard-hitting entertainment. The Bucks open at the Bismarck Event Center May 8th as they take on the Massachusetts Pirates. Catch the sweetest seats in the house right on the sidelines with VIP service at a Bucks turf table. Available now for single-game purchases. Secure your tickets today by calling 701-595-0771. Bucks football, half the field and double the fun.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Ever been in a cave before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the car! How will we? The car! Your offer's been accepted. Ever bought a house before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the closing. But how will we? The closing!
Hey everybody, I'm Doug Billings, your host of The Right Side with Doug Billings on Beck News. We bring you high-profile guests, ladies and gentlemen, exclusive guests. Now, you're not going to see these guests in most of the mainstream media outlets. Another thing that I do here is give guests a platform to speak freely. You're not going to see me censor anybody. Please join us, won't you? Weeknights right here on Beck TV and online at beck.news. Cheers.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We were talking about health and nutrition in the first two segments, and now we're going to talk about a different kind of health. Our right to decide our own health and what we want to put in our bodies, and you know that we have to have a little bit of sovereignty there in our own bodies. So we have two representatives from Health Freedom, North Dakota. Welcome to the show, Alexis Wangler.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Over here on the end, and she is the president of Health Freedom North Dakota. And next to her is Tara Ducart, and she's in public relations with Health Freedom, right?
Yes.
North Dakota. So thank you for coming on the show. And I did talk with Tara over the phone a little bit. And a big issue right now are whether people are going to get vaccines or not. This is not going to be a vaccine debate. Everybody, whatever you've decided, fine. I'm not going to argue with you on that. What we want to talk about is the right to make those decisions, and people are coming to you for help because some people are being pressured. They're worried about losing their jobs. Do you want to? Why don't we start with how did Health Freedom North Dakota begin to start with?
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Patty, for having us here, and Jan, of course. So I actually, and a friend of mine who is our Vice President, Brody, we got started on a very small educational demonstration back in 2019. And from there, we wanted to do another one, and we just kind of looked at each other and said, maybe we need to do a nonprofit instead of worrying about another educational demonstration. We can do those after our, setup of the nonprofit. So that's where we got started, and it's just bloomed from there. It's been a heck of a ride, very short amount of time.
Well, when you started, what was your goal? When you did the demonstration, what was that about?
Yeah, that was about educating the public on mandatory vaccinations, and seeing that was happening kind of all across the nation, really, is that people were starting to be forced into getting a certain vaccination to be able to work, that sort of situation.
Kids in
So
schools.
children in schools, yes. Even our own legislature says that in the law, it says that it's required for children to attend school. And really, we actually in the state of North Dakota are one of a few states that actually have 3 exemptions in place, so that if you prefer not to have the vaccination, if your child can't handle a particular vaccination, or if you have religious beliefs against one, your child wouldn't have to receive it if you fill out that paperwork and give it to school.
Right.
Only 3 states?
No, I want to say there's
exemptions. Oh, 3
15.
exemptions.
I want to say there's 15 states.
Okay, I'm sorry, I heard you wrong.
Yes.
You
Yep,
did
there's
say
3 exemptions. And actually there is another one that's on our form in particular too, that if you can show proof of the disease, that you can also have that exemption for that vaccination.
So that they've had the disease.
Yes, yes. So if you
somebody
show
had
that
measles,
yes.
then they don't have to get a measles vaccination.
Exactly. Yep.
Right. And Health Freedom North Dakota is all about education.
Yes.
And so we believe in true informed consent. And so of course it means that we want people to have the full education. We want them to be able to understand risks and rewards, and then make a fully informed choice. And again, choice being a key part of that. I think any medical procedure, any medical intervention, any kind of drug or pharmaceutical product, just like anything over the counter, should be a personal choice that you make for yourself, or you make for your child, or for someone else that would be in your care.
I met you through some of these educational demonstrations and took part, and I was really surprised to see the reaction. A good amount of people were honking horns and waving, and then there were some people that were flipping us off and yelling obscenities.
Yep.
It was extremely disturbing to see the big divide there. They also brought the movie Vaxxed to Bismarck for folks to see, and I learned so much seeing that movie, but the point, I guess, was that it wasn't a movie so much to say, don't get vaccinated. It wasn't to say all vaccinations are evil.
Yes.
It was to point out that some people, some bodies can't handle it and have been injured because of it. I am one. My daughters also are vaccine injured people, and it just kind of gave us avenues and information on where to look for what do you do next, how do you detox, can you detox from it, what your health choices are. And are there other things like that movie that are on the horizon for this group?
That's a great question,
Kind of like what's next? What do we do?
That's a really great question. We had our first ever Rock Your Health Summit last year, and so we were planning on continuing that for sure this summer as well. August 20th and the 21st. The 20th will be the VIP dinner, and then the 21st will be the actual summit. We still need to line up speakers for it. We do have a couple of already.
We've had a lot of
talked
requests.
to.
We've had a lot of fan favorites.
Yes.
So we're and we thought this would be a wonderful time to do it right before the start of school, because we know that there's a lot of parents right now. We're still dealing with the mask issue. Do we, because of course House Bill 1323 it was amended, and so that it does not affect schools. Schools and school boards will still continue to make their own choice in regards to whether or not that particular school or school district will require masks. And that's just another piece. You know, we talk about vaccines, we talk about any kind of health-related concern or issue that people bring up to us, and masks is another one of those issues or concerns. And again, we believe in informed consent with that. And so I think if you decide that it is a medically healthy choice for you to be wearing a mask, and if you think that they are actually effective at stopping the spread of COVID-19, which a lot of research is out there that shows that they're actually ineffective. But essentially having this next Rock Your Health Summit right before school will be a really great tool for parents right before the school year starts, so that they can be armed and prepared with information from very credible sources to help them speak to their school boards respectfully and speak to other parents and just stand up for themselves and for their kids.
So at the last Rock Your Health Summit, what type of, I mean, I'm aware, but folks out there may not be, what kind of folks did you have come and speak to the crowd, and on what issues?
Great question. So our first speaker was Dr. Patrick Flynn. He is from the Wellness Way, and he basically spoke to true health and how you can get your body to be very healthy, and you don't need a vaccination for that. You can do it through nutrition, you can do it through supplementation. His approach.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. And I know he was on the show last week, and it was a phenomenal interview.
Yes.
I really, that's a wealth of information. If you haven't seen that one, I recommend that one, because he does a lot with hormones and the immune system, and how do we, I think this is what we're not talking about. We focus so much of our time and energy in the media and in the news, the virus. And Dr. Patrick Flynn, along with other really credible health professionals, are saying we need to talk about the host. We need to talk about what are we doing to support our own immune response.
Yes.
And let's focus on that. Let's focus on the individual person and what that person needs to support their own immune health and general health. And if we focus on the good and the positive things, some of those negative things just kind of fall by the wayside. And this would be some advice that I would like to just share and encourage anyone with. We want to talk about the positives. So what are we doing to support? What are we doing to help? What are we doing for you to give your body what it needs from a mental health standpoint?
Yes.
From a physical health standpoint, from a spiritual health standpoint, and how are you modeling those behaviors to your kids or grandkids or to anybody else that you would have in your home or that you're surrounded with? So let's talk about the good things. How do we support those kinds of things? Support our hormones, anything that we need to. And then a lot of these problems that we're seeing, the illness, it just kind of falls off the radar when we think about and focus our attention on the good and the positives.
So we got about a minute in this segment.
Yes, so
there were some other guests that were big rockers there.
So there was Mary Holland from Children's Health Defense, and she spoke about the HPV vaccine. She has a book called HPV Vaccine on Trial. And so basically, what she's done and some other coworkers that have really shown that the HPV vaccine has harmed people, young children. Really, I think it's like one of the most injurious vaccines that is on bears.
Yeah.
And then there's
and she spoke about that from a legal perspective,
Yes.
which I think was really helpful,
yeah.
a really good perspective, and we can hear the medical perspective, but also the legal implications.
Yes, like what parents
of course,
can do.
Vaccines, unlike any other drug, they're a liability-free product.
Exactly. Yep. They're under biologic. And
Right.
then the last person who spoke was actually Del Bigtree with the Highwire, and he spoke basically on the corruption that we have seen. That people don't realize with the CDC, with the FDA, the NIH, a lot of those different institutions, and that his nonprofit ICANN is actually they've sued and they've won lawsuits against them for the corruption that they have presented.
And he was a producer with the Doctor's Show, so
Yes.
he really
Yes.
knows his way around. But we're going to take a break, and we're going to keep talking about this. We'll be right back after these messages with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Watch No Filter with me, Debbie Schlussel, for no-nonsense, unfiltered analysis of the news that matters to you. You'll see engaging guests,
It began a 444-day nightmare.
entertaining analysis, and it has everything to do with something that happened in history, and honest movie reviews. Trust me, this is just atrocious. No Filter with Debbie, weeknights at 10 p.m. Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com right now to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you can get my premium MyPillows regularly $69.98, now just $29.98, the lowest price ever.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, and we are once again joined with Alexis Wangler and Tara Ducart with Health Freedom North Dakota. And they are walking us through some of the different issues that have to do, especially with COVID. But you were around, you started before COVID, but that kind of ramped things up a little bit. And Tara, would you explain to people how you've been able to help them, if they don't want to get a vaccination, how they've been able to help defend themselves with their employers if they're afraid of losing their job?
Yes. So I think part of the reason why Health Freedom North Dakota in and of itself it has become such an important group, and why other advocacy groups for health freedom have really popped up and strengthened across the United States, is because a lot of us have watched what has happened in legislation over the last several years. You know, we saw people lost their rights to medical exemptions in some other states, including California, New York, and some others. And so we've been kind of following that legislation, and we've been seeing the writing on the wall. And so we predicted vaccine passports, a year ago. Yep. And so, you know, we as an organization and as individuals, we intended to help create awareness and warn people that this was coming. And so this legislative session, we actually had several bills that pertained toward protecting people's rights. And again, people still get to make their choice. And so if you choose to get the vaccination in this case, or you choose to take the medication, or you choose to have this specific procedure, whatever the circumstances are, we want people to have that choice. And so we had some legislation in place that was meant to be very proactive, that would protect our rights as employees, as whatever the circumstances, as students, as consumers, shoppers, you know, within businesses, those kinds of things. We wanted our rights protected to make sure that nothing would be forced on us in order to be able to work or go to school or to shop, those kinds of things. Again, following the rules that already exist, but this is just kind of an unprecedented time.
But if I have an employer that says I must get injected in order to keep my position, and they come to you, what can you help them with?
We would love to help because we tried to get legislation passed and it failed because the legislators really that were amongst the people that were in that decision-making committee, they thought that vaccine passports would never become a thing. And so here we are a couple months later at the end of the legislative session in North Dakota, we are having these real issues and concerns, right? So one of the things that we've been doing, because we just automatically got phone calls and emails and messages saying, hey, my employer is requiring me to either get the vaccination or I have to continue to follow these different protocols, like the masking, the social distancing, this stuff, continue to work from home. Yep. And ultimately, what I started doing, because some of the messages that I was getting, and we were getting as a group, these are their words, not mine. They said, we're concerned or afraid to talk to our employer, to talk to our boss, because we might get, and I quote, blackballed with our company. We're just afraid to speak out because we might lose some of our incentives or employment or have some kind of negative repercussion. And so I just said, well, let me just make a couple phone calls. So what I was able to do, and I think this is to gather information and to be respectful. So I made a phone call to a couple different large organizations in North Dakota. And I asked to speak to the HR department or whoever made these kinds of decisions. And I said, this is what I'm hearing from some of your employees who would like to remain anonymous. And I want to hear directly from you. This is what I'm hearing, but I don't want to spread gossip. I don't want to just believe in hearsay. I want to hear directly from you. Is this correct information that we're getting, that you're requiring your employees to show proof of vaccination for the COVID, or continue to follow these other protocols? And they confirmed that was correct. And I said, I just asked some questions. That was all. I said, I know you care about your employees. I believe you do. And I care about your employees, and they're reaching out to us, and we just want to ask some of these questions. Do you know that this is a liability-free product? And do you know that the COVID-19 vaccines, the COVID vaccines, they are not FDA approved? And I think not everyone is completely aware of that. They are not FDA approved. They are in an experimental phase. They have not been safety tested for long-term use. They're still being tested for short-term.
Just emergency use
authorization.
That's
correct.
way different than approval.
Yes, it is very different. And then we're having, Pfizer specifically, this came out in the news, Pfizer plans to file for full FDA approval by the end of this month, by the end of May.
And that's really concerning. I don't know if many people know this, but since 2000, Pfizer has been penalized $4,712,210,359 for multiple offenses, including racketeering, fraud, and misleading the public. They are the largest healthcare fraud settlement of $2.3 billion to date. So it's really concerning that that's one of the major vaccines that is seeking that approval. And then also just the fact that they are now asking for, I believe, 2 to 11-year-olds to be able to get vaccinated with it.
That is the next age category, to 2 to 11-year-olds. And we don't know how this is going to affect their fertility in 5, 10, 15, 20 years. We have no idea. And the claims that they are safe and effective, this is another question that I would encourage everyone to ask. Where is the proof that they are safe? And where is the proof that they are effective? And safe for everyone and effective for everyone, we know that that's not possible. In fact, vaccines are, it says
percentages.
Right. So ultimately, bringing it back to the employer, if your employer is informing you that you have to get this experimental vaccine, or get the vaccine, even if it does become FDA approved, we know that this is still in an experimental phase. And we know that again, the long-term effects are unknown at this point. They're using technology that has never been used in humans. We have no idea what's going to happen.
In addition to questioning their employers, is there anything else that you are able to help them with?
We are an advocacy group, and we're a bunch of volunteers just because it's something that we're passionate about. And so what we really want people to do is go to our website, and if you would...
Yeah, it's healthfreedomnd.com.
Yes. So if you come to our website, you'll see right on there, and we are, this is exciting news. We're in the process of updating this website. So be looking forward to that. So we know it's a bit primitive, but you can still connect with us.
Yep.
So connect with us through our website.
Sign up for the newsletter, and then if you scroll to the bottom, if you have like a particular question, you can also send a message to us, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Yes, and then we want to connect you with what your next step might be. Maybe it looks like us helping make some phone calls. Maybe it looks like us equipping you with some facts, some information. Maybe it looks like having you get, connected with other people in your own area, if depending on where you are. So really, we are an advocacy group again. So we want to encourage people to take the next step in whatever is right for them. And we can help, we can point you in the right direction. But essentially, our time is limited too. And I think a phrase that I like to use is like if 1,000 things need to be done, 1,000 people can do one thing, right? Rather than the same 10 people trying to take it on, or the same 2 people take it on. So we want to equip people with tangible things that they can do to help themselves.
And I just want to thank you for, it takes a lot of work to create an organization like this and a website, and you basically are trying to provide information for people and let them know both sides. You can't really make a decision if you only hear one side. Yep. So listen to what they have to say at Health Freedom, and then go ahead and listen to the other side, and then go back to Health Freedom and see what they have to say about that, and then inform yourself. And then they can go back to you, because you're going to defend everybody's right to make that decision, right?
Right. And if you support them being an advocate for people like that, you can go to their website and you can support them monetarily as well.
Right, that's always tough asking for
Yes.
people.
Well, thank you for that.
Yes.
It is always a hard ask.
Yes. A couple of hardworking
and we really
moms
appreciate all the love and support we've gotten. We've gotten a ton.
And we have fabulous members. Our group has grown tremendously in the last couple of months.
Yeah, it's been
wonderful.
been
Great
skyrocketing.
news. And we will, when the time comes, we'll help promote your August summit to your
Yes,
health.
we're really looking
Health Freedom
forward to
Summit.
it.
So-
Yeah.
That's going to be so much
thank
fun.
you. Thank you, Alexis and Tara, for coming today. And once again, you can go to healthfreedom.com. When we come up next, we're going to be talking about football. Coach Dave is coming, and he's a line coach for the Bucks. And we want everybody to come out to the game tomorrow, so we're going to talk about that with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Deciding how to promote your business can be hard. Visit the professionals at Dakota Promotions and Printing and let them help you through your struggle. Dakota Promotions provides promotional items and apparel, from corporate gifts to team shirts and everything in between. With quick turnaround times and friendly service, they are your best choice. And best yet, you're shopping local. Visit them online at dakotapromo.com or stop in their showroom at 320 West Main in Mandan. Dakota Promotions, delivering promotions just for you.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature Heroes, with the region's only Hero meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Indoor football is back in Bismarck. Bucks football season is right around the corner. Grab a friend or family member for a night of action-packed, hard-hitting entertainment. The Bucks open at the Bismarck Event Center May 8th as they take on the Massachusetts Pirates. Catch the sweetest seats in the house right on the sidelines with VIP service at a Bucks turf table. Available now for single game purchases. Secure your tickets today by calling 595-0771. Bucks football, half the field and double the fun.
I'm Rick Becker from No Apologies. Welcome to your after hours oasis of sanity. How can these people not see that they're just clowns?
We help simplify and educate you on things going on in the legislature and around the country.
Asking the hard-hitting questions.
But also having Lee Stack and Sid and Marty Croft stuff, and we've talked about that sometimes. It's bad.
Watch us weeknights at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We're going to talk about the Bucks now, and we have Coach Dave. Okay, now I hope I don't mess up your last name. Brummagem?
Close enough. Brummagem.
Brummagem. Okay, I just had the wrong G sound for you. Brummagem.
Yes.
And you are a line coach for the defensive team, right?
Yes, I coach the defensive line.
Okay, now, first, I want to tell you that if you want to have fun tomorrow night, because, you know, the weather's going to be bad. It's the day before Mother's Day, so take Mom.
Yeah, there you go.
A Bucks football, indoor football game at the Bismarck Event Center is a lot of fun.
Plus,
You're
it's
not
breast
going to want to
cancer
miss
awareness. I mean, it's just the weather's going to be crappy. There's a football game in town.
Yeah.
It's breast cancer awareness, and it's Mother's Day. It's like the perfect place to go hang out for an afternoon.
Absolutely.
And we're going to all be there too. So if you see us, come up and say hi. And here you go, different ticket prices, and you can go to their website at bismarckbucks.com. Get more information, buy some tickets. You could also go to the Event Center website to buy some tickets.
And ages 18 and under are free.
Did you hear that, everybody?
Nice? 18 and under are free, so there's no reason to just go ahead
Don't
and
need
pack
to pay
the
a
stadium.
babysitter,
No.
bring the whole family.
Bring them all.
It'll be a blast.
Bring
Pull
some money
them
for
away.
popcorn, though.
Get them away from the video games, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Come out and see some football, right, Coach Dave?
Absolutely.
So you won your last game in Green Bay.
Yes,
right?
we did.
Wisconsin?
Awesome.
Opening first game of the season, 2021, we did, and we were happy about that.
What was the score?
You know, I will never, ever know what a score is because I just know if we win or we lose.
We win or lose.
that's
That's
all
a good way to look
That's
at
the
it.
important part, yes.
Absolutely.
Yep, that is the most important part. And we want to win tomorrow. And it makes a difference. When you hear the crowd cheering for you, tell me what a difference that makes.
Oh, it makes a huge difference because we know that the crowd and we know that the community and everybody is behind us. And not only, you know, it pumps up the players as well. And the players want to do well and they want to put on a good performance and be successful for the rest of the, you know, for the crowd that's behind them.
And this is what it looks like. You get to see up close and personal. You are really watching what's going on in the field. I mean, you can bring your binoculars, but you don't even need them. It's you are watching football
So tell
played,
us the
right?
difference, say, from the big field outdoors to the indoor. I've never been to an indoor game, so tell me all about it. I can't wait.
Well, the biggest difference is it's 50 yards as opposed to 100, which is outdoors, and it's 28 yards wide. And there's 8 players on the side as opposed to 11. And there are different rules. We can have 2 guys in motion, 2 players in motion on the offensive side to, you know, approaching the line of scrimmage. And we do that a lot as far as putting players in motion. There's certain other rules as far as where you can blitz and where you can't blitz and the gaps and things like that, you know, more technical stuff. But I think that indoor gives the fans a real opportunity to be up close, I mean, to the action.
Plus, it's a faster moving game.
Very
Much
fast,
faster.
very fast, yeah. And it's a continuous running clock pretty much until the last minute of the half, the last minute of the game, and then it'll stop, you know, for first downs and things like that.
Okay. I really like that fast-moving aspect because we've had boys that have played football. You know, you sit on the stands, you're sweating at the beginning of the season, and then you're trying not to get hypothermia by the end of the season. But things move very slowly, and you're trying to, you know, pay attention. And but not with indoor football. The climate is perfect.
Yes.
And the game is fast-moving, and it is a lot of fun.
So where did you come from? Tell me a little bit about your history.
Oh my goodness.
The Cliff Note version.
I spent 30 years in law enforcement.
Oh, wow.
I was an Omaha police officer for 20 years, and I retired. It'll be eight years in July that I retired. I started doing indoor in 2009, and I just, kept, going as much as I could on it because I love the game I love football. I enjoy it, and I just started immersing myself in it and just sponging and absorbing everything that I possibly could when I was with the Omaha Beef and, different teams like that. And then I knew who Coach Miller was, and we'd never coached together. We had talked in passing, and then fortunately, he asked me to come on in 2019. I was not able to due to my health conditions, but I was able to come on last year, and we were glad to be together and coaching together. And of course, with COVID, it lasted one game.
Oh, dear. Right.
So I was fortunate that he was able to, get the position again, and he asked me to come along, and, like I say, the rest is history.
Perfect.
So it sounds like it's going to be an exciting season.
I think it will be. I really think it will be, and we're hoping for a lot of success.
And you can watch the Coaches Show Wednesdays at 7 o'clock. We interview the coaches on Beck News.
Okay.
Perfect.
And,
Sounds
yeah.
good.
And so I hope we'll see you tomorrow at the Bismarck Event Center to see the Bucks versus Massachusetts, right? The Massachusetts Pirates.
Massachusetts Pirates, that's right.
Right. It's going to be a great game, and we'll see you there. Thanks, Coach Dave, for coming on.
All right.
And
my pleasure. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so great having you. And I just want to say again, everybody come to the game. Just fill the stadium tomorrow and let them know what North Dakota Nice and Bismarck Nice and Bismarck Bucks is all about.
And you're close enough, you can say, hey, Coach Dave, good job.
There you go.
So we'll see you tomorrow with Ladies of Another View on Beck.